Let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Kendra Kobler. I'm your Moonshot MC. And please introduce yourself in the chat, as I mentioned, and let us know where you're calling in from. And you can choose between speaker or gallery view. It's really up to you, your preference. And please keep yourself on mute when you're not speaking, just to be aware of any background noise. And I will be muting everybody now. And welcome to our March full moon celebration. Thank you for joining us today to bring our Wellness Moonshot mission to life. That mission is a world free of preventable disease. For those who might benefit from a very, very quick recap, the term moonshot originally came from President John F. Kennedy's ambitious goal to land a man on the moon in the 1960s. Since then, the term has become a buzzword itself. To set long-range goals with greater urgency, such as Pfizer CEO's COVID vaccine moonshot and Joe Biden's reignited cancer moonshot. There's even a new movie titled Moonshot coming out later this month. Dare we say we're trendy? And the Global Wellness Institute has brought together many acclaimed and recognizable wellness pioneers to drive this mission. But we're looking to grow even more. So if you have a connection to an influencer in the wellness space, we welcome ideas and introductions, perhaps a celebrity or an Olympic athlete. Our ears and our inboxes are open. Expanding our reach is a top priority. And even in the past month, we've grown our impact by 500,000, but are hoping for even more exponential growth with your support. And you can always check our current counter numbers on our landing page, our Moonshot landing page. And our goal is to double these figures by the end of the year through creative and meaningful engagement. Our approach this year involves storytelling. And in that spirit, Renee Moorfield, the CEO of WisdomWorks and GWI Advisory Board member, is interviewing a new leader each month. To explore wellness from fresh angles and nuanced perspectives. For March, Renee has interviewed Victor Koo, who has dedicated his career to advancing wellness as the chairman of Hay Holdings and a co-founder of Tianren Culture, and he's also on our board. A true entrepreneur, his work focuses on disruptive innovations in the areas of health, genomics, and food. In 2021, Victor stepped up as a strategic partner of the Wellness Moonshot and adapted the calendar with Chinese characters and shaped the content to better reflect the Chinese culture. From seasonal recommendations and nutritious recipes, Victor and his team at Tianren Culture plan to do this again for 2022, so we can continue to engage 18% of the world's population that is based in China. I encourage you to watch the full interview on our website, as it was hard to pick the 3-minute clip that I was going to share with you today. So I'm about to pull the video up, and while the interview is playing, I encourage you to think about daily practices that inspire you to reflect on the importance of wellness. This is a topic that Victor and Renee discuss, and I welcome you to share your own responses in the chat. So I'll send this question in the chat as soon as I get the video up and playing, so you don't have to remember it, but I will just switch over to the video and just give me one moment, please. We did some technical troubleshooting before, so it should work seamlessly. That is the hope. All right, and feel free to send in the chat if you're experiencing difficulties. But you can see the video. Ready? Here we go. 3 minutes. See you soon.
So say a little bit about what a wellness leader, or anyone who has decided they want to lead wellness in their own life, their family, their team, etc., their organization, their community. Say a little bit about the inner wellness, the practices you would do to reflect on inner wellness.
Well, I think for any organization or for any leader, the idea of wellness first is important. That's important to you, whether you incorporate that in your mission or your vision, and in terms of how you really put together your work and your resource plan. And if wellness first is something that's part of your mission and vision, everything you do in terms of your strategy or your implementation will be consistent on that. And if you lead by example or lead by principles, having wellness in your life as well as having wellness in aspects of your business and your products and technology, it's also well integrated in terms of what you do day to day. And if you have a reflective mode every designated period of time, then you can go back to this wellness first vision and really see if it's consistent and make sure that you have the processes and policies in place to make sure that happens. So and as I spoke about the different aspects, the inner, external, those are the two sides, and then the personal and global. On the vision side, these are all things that can help in really thinking about that from a leader standpoint.
Yeah, so give me an example for your own self of sort of a practice you do for reflecting on your inner wellness. I almost want to give, for whoever's listening to this, I almost want to give them some practical examples in each one of these levels, because I think that'll really help.
Well, I think to start off with inner wellness, you really need to take a holistic view, whether you talk about wellness to your body and mind, heart and soul, and find what's important and effective for you, or broadly speaking, hopefully based on scientific research. For me personally, since we do a fair amount of research on physical wellness in terms of your body, I think a healthy and flexitarian diet is the most important thing. And if you look at kind of the scientific research related to global burden of disease, what you find that having that kind of plant-forward diet contributes 50% in terms of kind of root cause, and smoking being the second one, about 17%. So you can see that just a healthy and flexitarian diet is so paramount to your physical health. And in terms of things like mental and emotional health, I think meditation and conscious breathing are found to be very, very effective practices, which I do each morning and each evening. And one of the things I say to people when they ask about my entrepreneurial journey is, if I knew more about meditation before I started the company, I think the company and myself would have been, much stronger as a leader, because you become a lot more reflective in terms of and creative as well with a daily discipline of meditation and conscious breathing.
So I'm going to stop it there, just a little teaser for you, and I hope you can find it under March on our website so you can check out more of the interview and the interviews to come, because we have a lot of fun interviews lined up for the rest of the year. And thank you for those of you who sent some of your answers in the chat. And please continue to do so throughout the call. But because we have a full agenda, I'm going to keep going. I can say that Renee Moorfield is actually practicing a wellness first approach right now. She's not on this call because she is biking through Arizona on vacation and prioritizing her well-being. And as Victor mentioned, the importance of a plant-forward diet, it seems essential that we bring in the right experts from our Global Wellness Institute audience. And did you know that GWI has over 30 initiatives that represent the subsectors of the expansive wellness world? So here today, I'm thrilled to introduce Cindy Burkhart, the chair of the Nutrition for Healing Initiative, who led the creation of a brand new dynamic and non-judgmental nutritional guide for health. Cindy, over to you to share an overview of this robust body of work, and I'm here to show off the beautiful booklet for you. Cindy, I see you, but you might be frozen.
Yes.
There you are.
Sorry, I wasn't quick enough on the trigger with the unmute. Thank you very much for having me on to initiative. It's just stoked that we've got this digital resource to share with people. We've ended up with 88 pages of goodness, all in a digital flip book that's available on the GWI website on our initiative page. And our goal with this was to create a resource for eating, for health, and for healing. And it's meant to be a general guideline so that people in a global audience can really access what we're presenting. Our view has been that we still find that a lot of people are unfamiliar with different aspects of eating well, or even how to put all these different things together. So we wanted to put together a resource that's Earth, with terminology that resonates with people, and with recommendations that are easy to follow. So we wanted a booklet that's appropriate for everyday people who are interested in a little or a lot about everyone. And we'd also like this to be picked up and used by industry service providers in wellness, maybe for staff or for their clients alike, with wholesome, unprocessed, natural foods, predominantly plant-based.
Cindy, can you still hear us? I think your connectivity might not be super strong, so maybe we turn off your video and keep your audio, because I'd love to hear more. She's still there. I also sent the booklet in the chat if you want to kind of peruse on your own. It's also on our Nutrition for Healing landing page on our website. Did we lose Cindy?
My guess is
There
she's
she is.
going to come back in.
I see you, Cindy.
I'm back. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
great.
Somehow I got kicked off the internet. I'm not sure the last thing you heard, but
Cindy,
I
you
did
should
want to
excuse me.
mention
Turn off
that
your.
our key
You should
message
turn off.
with the book is how
Cindy,
to
turn off your video if you
eat
can.
well.
Your internet's very unstable. If you could turn off your video, then we could at least hear you. Okay. Thanks.
Thanks, Nancy. Cindy, can you hear us now? It feels like one of those
I hope that's
commercials.
better. I can. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Tell
well,
us
I
more.
hope that you can
Tell
hear
us
me.
more.
I can hear you fine. Okay, good. Our key message with the booklet is how to eat well with wholesome, unprocessed, natural foods, predominantly plant-based. So going through the booklet, we start with the very basics of get to know your own body and your mind. And we go through things such as what are the basics of food, into digestion and your gut, how to understand labels, food trends, hydration, shopping, the importance of kitchen design. And then we even end up with a section on Mythbusters, where we confront common untruths head on, such as only boring people eat. So we've heard a lot of these different things and wanted to address some of those as well. I know no one in only boring people eat healthy, but others do. We're trying to front all these different things, reflect, and also perfectly with our mindful eating approach. And we're really excited to share the booklet, and we hope to get this in as many hands as possible. And if anyone is interested in some kind of a collaboration with our initiative or a special project, please feel free to contact me directly and we can take it from there. But the book is available on our site as this digital flip book version, as well as a downloadable PDF, which you are welcome to share with your HR teams and things like that. So please engage with it and feel free to ask any questions. We're just super excited.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Cindy. And thanks for bearing with the technical difficulties. It's
Thank
part
you,
of being
Kendra.
a team. Wonderful. Thanks again, Cindy, for your hard work. It's really an incredible booklet, and I'll send the link to the Nutrition for Healing initiative as well. And if you're interested in getting introduced to Cindy, you can send your email in the chat, but I'm also happy to make an introduction if you reach out to me. All right, so let's keep moving. And to remind us why we gather on the day of the full moon and to keep its powerful brightness top of mind, I'd love to introduce Chief Creative Officer and Executive Director of the Global Wellness Institute and the Summit, Nancy Davis, to share a moon moment.
Thank you, Kendra, and hello, everyone. That is an incredible booklet. And so thank you, Cindy, and her incredible initiative for putting that together. It's really quite a piece. Welcome to the final full moon of the winter season. I know many of us are very happy to turn the page on the winter. March's full moon reached peak illumination Eastern Daylight Time, 3:20 a.m. today, and I'm very happy to say I was not awake looking at it, but that's the story. The full moon names, which are so fascinating, used by the Old Farmer's Almanac, come from a number of sources: Native American, Colonial American, and European sources. And traditionally, each full moon name was applied to the entire lunar month, not just the full moon itself. So March's full moon is the worm moon. And for many years, we thought this name referred to earthworms because they appear in the soil as the spring warms the ground. However, more research revealed that in the 1760s, Captain Jonathan Carver visited the Nadawesi or Dakota and other Native American tribes and wrote that the name worm moon refers to beetle larvae, which begin to emerge from thawing bark of trees and other winter hideouts. Very, very interesting. So there are quite a few names for the March moon that speak to the transition from winter to spring. Some refer to the appearance or reappearance of certain animals, such as the eagle moon, goose moon, or crow comes back moon, while other refers to signs of the season. The sugar moon marks the time of year when the sap of sugar maples starts to flow. The wind strong moon refers to the strong windy days that come at this time of year. And my favorite, the sore eyes moon, highlights the blinding rays of sunlight that reflect off the melting snow of late winter. March's full moon also plays a role in religion. Specifically in Christianity, this moon is known as a Lenten moon. If it is the last full moon of the winter, that is, if it occurs before the spring equinox, or the Paschal full moon, if it's the first moon after the spring equinox. But this year, the equinox is March 20th. So this is indeed before the equinox. So it is a Lenten moon. Forgive me one personal note. I like to think of today's full moon as Mother Moon, since it's my mother's birthday. And my mom lived to a wonderful and healthy 92. Today she would be 97. I know the moon is just a little bit brighter because of her. So happy birthday, Mom, and happy full moon to everyone. Thanks, Kendra.
Thank you, Nancy. I'm so touched. Happy Mom Moon to everyone. And thank you so much for sharing. It's definitely extra bright. I'll be looking in the clear skies tonight for you, definitely. Wonderful. All right. So to keep us moving and feeling very inspired after that, next up, joining us from Dubai is where she is launching the Wellness at Home Kit for Kids, is the chair of the Wellness for Children initiative, Christine Clinton, and she is helping us build up momentum and content for the Children's Moonshot calendar. March's topic is Be Creative. I'll let Christine take it away, and we'll also show some of the photos that she sent me of the students she works with and their seemingly limitless imaginations. Over to you, Christine.
Thank you, Kendra. Hello, everybody. And as always, Nancy, you're always so moving. But with your talk about your parents, you can see so much love in your eyes and in your heart when you talk about your parents. So be creative. Well, we know there's actually a tremendous amount of support for mental health when we allow children to be creative, because they don't always see the boundaries that we may see as adults. And it's really nice for them and to give them confidence. And it also helps for them to achieve feelings of achievement and accomplishment when they create something and complete it. So we know that it's helpful from a mental health perspective, but we also know that creative expression helps them to feel good about themselves because it promotes problem solving, allows them to work together and be social. We know that it can reduce anxiety and really improve their overall sense of well-being, particularly, as I said, if they work in teams to create something and then they see it come to fruition. So this helps with social emotional learning. And as I said, a sense of accomplishment when they create something that is unique and special for them. So these are some images of the children at Junior Genius in Ireland. And we spend a lot of time outside, regardless of the weather. Thankfully, in these photographs, it was good weather. But we really encourage the children to be outside as much as possible, and sometimes just pick up a stick and see what they can see in the stick, or what they can see in a log. Or if they're laying on the grass and they're looking at the clouds, what do they see in the clouds? And the children love this part of the day. So we really can't encourage you enough, parents, to let, or caregivers, let their children outside in nature and see how creative they can be in nature without boundaries.
Wonderful. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you. You're welcome. And I just wanted to say one quick thing, and that is just that we have a full house. We have 4 generations here celebrating the launch of the Wellness for Children initiative. And it is 6:30 p.m. and I know they've ordered food. So I'm not being rude, but I probably have to finish my portion of the call sooner. Okay.
We
to
understand.
accommodate the youngest and the oldest. So thank you, and happy full moon to everybody, and many moon blessings.
And happy belated St. Patrick's Day to you, our Irish friend.
Thank you, Nancy. We had such a fun time yesterday. Thank you. I'll see you soon, I hope. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Christine. Appreciate you joining from Dubai.
Thanks.
And congrats on the launch. Bye.
Oh, thank you.
Wonderful. All right. And so thank you to Christine, and it's been really fun exploring wellness from different lenses. That really is the intent behind the Moonshot calendar, to remind us and to keep us motivated. So normally I have my Moonshot calendar in the background as the perfect conversation starter. Today, I've unhooked it from the ceiling to show off the bold design up close. It is in the spirit of Mother Earth. It is just so fantastic. I see a few in the background. I see Elizabeth has hers up, and I know she just ordered the new one. It's on its way. I got your order. Don't worry, Elizabeth. But she has the one from last year. And it's not too late to order the 2022 calendar. This year we made it evergreen, so you can use it year after year. And I just wanted to share my screen with all the buzzwords for 2022, because this is the perfect segue for our breakout sessions, which is right now. Da, 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 da. So now it's time for us to divide and conquer. We'd love for you to share your wellness word for 2022, your wellness buzzword. And we encourage you to think about how this buzzword inspires you both personally, as Victor Koo mentioned, but also inspires wellness externally for your global wellness vision, and drives wellness for all. So we will have about 10 minutes for these breakout sessions, and then we will come back and debrief as a full group for 10 minutes as well. All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing and we're gonna do some breakout rooms. So I think we're going to do 5 breakout rooms, about 7 participants in each. I think that's a good size. And I will send the message in the chat as well, or the prompt, which is, what is your wellness buzzword for 2022? That is what you'll be discussing. And it'll give you a 1-minute warning before it kicks you out and we come back to the full group. All right, let's get buzzing. Well, Nancy, let's start with Nancy.
I heard the Queen wave. I couldn't help myself.
Oh.
I had a wonderful breakout group, and the words that came up were joy, twice, creativity, courage, enlightenment, endure, persevere, and one person's theme, which is I am safe. And we talked a lot about what's happening in the world, what that does to ourselves, how we defend against it, what we do, how we contribute, but how important it is to remember that, there's joy, that reaching for joy and trying to create that in your life is very much part of self-care. And so it was a terrific conversation. I think the One person in our group this is her first Moonshot call. Anna, just give a wave. We were welcoming Anna, who is Polish, lives in Paris, and has family and ties to the Ukraine. So it was a very interesting perspective, fully global. And so anyway, that was our group.
Wow, thank you for such a great summary. I feel like we got to hear from all of the 7 people in your group in a very succinct fashion. So thank you for the recap, and welcome, Anna. We're so happy to have you join our Moonshot tribe. And yeah, anything to add, Anna? No, please unmute.
No, I just wanted to say I'm happy, very happy to be here. So
Oh,
thank
great.
you.
So happy to have you, and hope to see you, for the many months to come. We have, there's
That's
12
the plan.
full moons in the year. It keeps us accountable for that reason. Allison, please. Thank you for raising your hand.
I can also do the queen wave. I've never heard that term before. I really love it. So I too am a newbie to your organization. I had started to do some research, and then I got the emails, and then I discovered this event. So it felt really like a beautiful experience to come into a group that was so welcoming, right? And we all had different wellness terms or ways that we're identifying in this with ourselves in this next year. And so it was really like Nancy had just shared, there was commonality just in the, in the heart sense, in that, the mindfulness and slowing down and really being, compassionate in terms of the world around us, but also for ourselves. So it was lovely. Thank you, everyone who was in my group.
Thank you, Allison. It sounds like slowing down and reflecting has been very beneficial. So I hope you join us for the months to come as well.
Thank you.
Any other brave folks want to chime in, be a representative for your group? We have about 5 more minutes. I know that working with Susie and Nancy is a lot of fun, and I know that Susie's buzzword for the year is fun. I don't know if she shared that buzzword or if she has a secondary buzzword for the year.
Well, as a matter of fact, Kendra, our group was also very interesting, and what we realized is we really got to know each person a bit by them sharing their word. And yes, my word was fun, but let me share the other words, which I thought were great. Elizabeth, whose birthday it is today, she, likes the word reflection. And Martha Collard, who is in Hong Kong, and they've had lockdown after lockdown, has adopted the word trust to get through these very challenging times. Cindy, who we heard from with the nutrition booklet, introduced us to the word nudie, and I'm going to ask you, Cindy, to talk about that for a second since we have some time, because it's so interesting. And Heidi's word was connect, Boomy's word was belief, and yes, my word was fun. But Cindy, tell us about nudie. That's kind of an attention-getting word.
So for everyone who's thinking, may or may not have my clothes on, I'm going in a different direction. It's foodie with an N. You can do whatever you want with your clothes. But the foodie part, as we all know, who loves clothes, who loves food, is we want to try everything. We want to have the best food, enjoy experiences through food. For me personally and many others, traveling is a wonderful experience to dive into local food and cuisine and dishes. So all of us who embrace this foodie concept of loving food, wanting the best food, however we get it, cooking with others, finding it out in different places, there's that. And then the N in the front is the nutrition aspect. So liking food, but in this framework of what's nutritious. And I always say nutritious and delicious, because those two things just go together. And so how can you satisfy your foodie desires and interests and cravings with food that's from this nutritious, delicious, wholesome kind of perspective? So then you're a nudie.
That is so great. You're making me hungry, but I love the passion. That is
I
fabulous.
know, I'm hungry all the time.
Yes,
For
well,
good
now
food.
I have a great point of reference, you know, to help navigate my food decisions. So thank you for that booklet. It's awesome.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? I see the chat is lighting up. Tara, I love your commentary. Love a good dragon fruit, exotic fruit. Let's get one more buzzword in before we move on to the close of our show, which is still very exciting. Anyone, please?
I'll just say very quickly, and it's not a buzzword, but what I said in my group was self-care isn't always about you. And very, very quickly, what I mean by that is that there's so many people that will say, okay, self-care is selfish. They go to the other extreme. So it's like, you know, I want to take care of others. I want to help others. It's like, okay, great. What if you integrate self-care with helping others by knowing that it's not always about you, it's about helping others as well.
That's so true. I think that's what really resonated about that portion of the interview between Victor and Renee. The wellness first, it's kind of like the oxygen mask analogy on an airplane. It's like you have to put yours on first or else you're going to affect others. So I think that's great. Thanks, Anne-Marie. I appreciate you chiming in. All right, and I see many nodding heads, so that's exciting. So I'm going to move on now. Thank you again for sharing your buzzwords and engaging in the breakout sessions. I love that we still had all of our participants when we came back. And now I'm excited to announce our 2022 March Moonshot winner, who is coincidentally joining us from Hong Kong. I know we talked about the China Moonshot earlier on this call. Martha Collard, the founder of Red Doors Studio, shared her take on Reflect. And she said, quote, I love what she said, "We see the moon simply because it reflects the light of the sun. A full moon illuminates our goals and offers insights to direct our energies forward." I feel like that's a second moon moment. We really lucked out. Very enlightening, Martha, pun intended. And we'd love to hear from you for a minute or two about your wellness work.
Great. Well, thank you, Kendra. And thank you, everybody. I actually did my first public event tonight, which was under the radar screen of the police. It was for the full moon. And for those of you that don't know what I do, basically I'm the gong lady, and I alleviate suffering and pain by offering a slice of bliss. All you have to do is lie on the floor and I hit my gongs and I alter your state of reality in as little as 1 second. If you haven't had a gong bath, come visit. Find one in your local neighborhood. You won't regret it. But my bigger picture is to make a dent in mental health and well-being by giving people an opportunity to stop and just rest. And, you know, we can't meditate, we can't think unless we can actually take a pregnant pause. And unfortunately, particularly with COVID, it's really hard to do that. And I don't know how many of you meditate on a regular basis, but the monkey mind is not our friend. And so the techniques I use are very fast, very simple, very effective, and are thousands of years old. And the gongs I find are the most effective because people want something that's simple, easy, effective, and they don't have to do anything. And all they have to do is lie down and close their eyes. And we've had some transformational experiences. I've had a kidney stone dissolve. I've had slip discs. They walk in, slip, they walk out fixed, you name it. And it is what it is. And a lot of my work is with cancer clients and cancer survivors. I can regrow nerve endings where they've lost feeling in their arms and legs, sometimes in as little as 1 session. But like most healing modalities, you can't predict the result that you're going to have with any particular client. So I just don't consider myself a healer. I call myself a catalyst for well-being. And I'm really the person who provides the tools and facilitates the process. I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone has any. Nancy. Oh.
I just want to say I am so thrilled to see you. Martha Collard was the star of the 2019 Global Wellness Summit in Singapore, where she unveiled Aquarius, right? A gong she had specifically made for the event. She did an extraordinary keynote performance and then offered her services in the evening to do gong baths for people. There were lines out the door. We had to add another night of her doing it. And then my partner and I had the privilege of a private gong bath. And it was one of the most extraordinary experiences. Martha then came to New York, was part of the press event. I look at you and I think, this is what life was like before COVID. That was our last summit before COVID, our last press event before COVID. And it was such an extraordinary experience because of you. And you've become really part of our tribe. I've seen you in New York doing other sessions, just incredible. And we just adore you. And it really makes me just so happy to see you.
Well, thank you, Nancy. It was definitely a highlight. And I truly appreciated the opportunity to share because, you know, from the sound world, we believe that sound is the medicine of the future. And this is something that crosses cultures, it crosses continents, it's done all around the world. And whether it's your own voice, whether it's singing bowls, whether it's gongs, these are modalities that really can make a huge difference in the Moonshot objective, which is, you know, prevention of, eradicating preventable diseases. And just to give you, a friend of mine had off the charts hypertension and was on so many different medications. And after 3 months of just playing 5 or 10 minutes a day, was off all medication. And, you know, I think it's important to look to the past for solutions that we're faced with today, moving forward, because we don't need fancy, you know, gizmos, or at least my belief is, you know, keep it simple, keep it sustainable, and keep it scalable. And, you know, I live for the day when I have a gong in every school in Hong Kong. I don't know when that's going to happen because all the schools are closed again. But, you know, we live in hope. And that's why my word for this year is trust and belief that everything's going to be okay.
Let's make sure to connect Martha to Christine Clinton for the children's Moonshot work and the children's wellness work. Okay, because Christine in Ireland has tremendous contacts in schools where she's doing wellness programming. So you never know.
No, that would be awesome. A few years ago, I presented labyrinths at the World Scout Jamboree in Japan for 40,000 people. And I trained up all the leaders, and one of the leaders was a Polish woman in Ireland, and she started making labyrinths with her scout troop in Ireland. So, you know, it's amazing, the cross-fertilization. Yeah.
Totally. And we have a sound wellness initiative with GWI, sounds perfectly fitting. And thank you so much, Martha, for being our winner for March. And your Moonshot calendar is on its way to Hong Kong.
That's fantastic.
So yes, I know you were excited about it. So thank you so much for joining. And thanks again. And last, but certainly not least, to close our program is the vibrant Lisa Fasulo, who is the founder and director for the Center for Transformative Movement, to lead us in a free-form Moonshot in motion. And since I mentioned we are trendy, she has selected a cover song of a hip hop song that is guaranteed to make us feel good. Over to you, Lisa. You're still muted.
Thank you. Great. In thinking about I love words. So in thinking about the word reflect, it comes from the root word flexion, meaning bend. So when we have a reflection, it bends back to us, or a reflection from a mirror. And thank you, Martha, and thank you, Christine, earlier for talking about, kids and movement and all that. Vibration, everything in us is vibrating right now. Every cell in us. So when we move on the outside, meaning this kind of movement, we're actually aligning, we're becoming one with the movement within us, and we feel good. That's why a lot of people tap, that's why a lot of people hum, and they can seem like nervous habits, but they're anything but that. They're actually self-regulation, auto-regulation. So when we reflect, we can think of walking on a beach or journaling or a nice conversation, and those are all ways at different times. However, we are bodies, and like Martha said with the gong, when you don't have anything to do, I'm sure in Nancy's experience, a lot of that wonderfulness is just what came up that wasn't even known or necessary, but it bubbles up and we feel it. So today we are going to be reflecting through moving our bodies. And last night I was with my son and his girlfriend and some other young people, and we were reflecting back on how he used to jump around after school, probably 2 or 3 hours battling Greek gods, and he'd come in and he'd feel so refreshed. And then 4 girls moved in next door. And he never did that again. And I'd say, you could do it inside. And his girlfriend was saying, well, I danced around in my bed every night. And that is the biggest thing I hear from young people when I work with teens and young adults. They say, oh my God, I thought I was the only one that did that. I might dance on my bed. So it's just an innate, natural way that we can process, that we can reflect on our days and where we are, having fun doing it. So I put in the chat, so the song it's a cover. It's not by Lizzo, but it's we'll play it in a second. So there's the choruses, I do my hair toss. And the hair toss really just represents, I'm going to stand up. The hair toss really, wait, where's my picture? Why isn't my picture up here? I need to see me. How do I get view? Okay. So the hair toss really represents just kind of playfully, I'm here. So whether you do it or not, I do my hair toss. You're just stating playfully that you are here. I check my nails. Our hands are moving all day, so it's kind of a way of grounding and just bringing it in. Baby, how you feeling? You're opening up for the reflections to come. And then it says, feeling good enough. So you are free to do anything you want. And then there's between the choruses, we can just move in any way we want. But feel free to follow along, but mostly this is your dance.